Hey guys, it's Will. So is CTM Castellum Inc. the next sleeper stock that could potentially break out? They're a small cap defense tech company and they've had some serious moves, and the question is, are they a buy right now? We're going to dive into some of their latest developments, their financials, what the future could hold. And by the way, if you're serious about trading and want to access Stockmate, watch us trade live at market open tomorrow. There's a special discount for early access in the second link down below. And with lifetime access, not a subscription or anything like that, you get a free t-shirt. So keep that in mind. We've been working on this store. We even got some stainless Stockmate tumblers and some new merch that is totally free here. You get this Stockmate tee, so I'm excited about that. $30 value. So let's take a look at CTM. CTM stock was at just 13 cents. It shot up to $3.05. And then it sold off down to, what is that, about 65 cents before recovering. You can see it went up about 10x, a little bit over 10x over the course of just about 2 weeks. So had some big moves, and one of the things that you could look at, it looks like, oh, it's kind of consolidating. You might look at it here. You might see the support and you might see the resistance. And we'll go into some of the financials and the news. But before we get into that market analysis, let's take a look at this chart. You can see it is, consolidating here. Now you might look at this and say, okay, looks interesting. It's probably going to sell back down to here. I actually have a little bit of a different analysis in store. So the way that I see this, there's this resistance here. You see that rejection. It also acted as a support there, and then a support level, and also a rejection zone right there. A little bit of consolidation, and then was a support. It's been acting as a support right here around this $95, $97 price point right there, or 95, 97 cent price point, excuse me. And you can see this resistance up here. So this is kind of a zone that, if it holds, could be quite bullish. If you see the 200-day moving average, something that oftentimes will act as a support, you guys see this green line, it will act as a support or a resistance. We saw it kind of acting as a resistance here, getting rejected. 200-day moving average, see that green line getting rejected, staying below. Recently crossed over and now possibly could hold above this 200-day moving average. So this is important. The reason we look at this is if it holds above this green line and we see it break above the EMA, this blue line, that could indicate some upwards momentum. If it does, to this next level, it would be about 25%. To here, midway, would be about 102%. And up to previous highs, we'd be looking at over 200% return. Can you guys hear my dog bark? Do you hear a German Shepherd in the background? I think so. So as you can see here, this drop down, this trend, and then this recent level that it's holding at, I would expect that we could see some momentum build. And here's why. CTM, if you are familiar with the stock, you know that they might have some contracts brewing. But before we get into that, they're just a $68 million valuation. They are a tiny company. They got a number of employees, about 260 as of 2023. But you can take a look at some of their numbers here. Again, 52-week low was about 12 cents. They got up to $3. It's a penny stock. So I urge caution. I definitely tell you guys, this is a volatile stock. The revenue here, still 11 million on quarter, 11 million in that quarter, 11 million in that quarter, and 11 million in the last quarter. So fairly consistent over the past year, which is why they don't see, any big surges or decreases in year-over-year revenue. Net income is up 86% year-over-year. Keep that in mind. They're just barely negative. Net profit margins, just a little negative, negative 11%, but up 85% year over year. So what do we see? We see increase of production. Why is that important? Well, you can look at the financials and say, okay, it doesn't look too bad for a penny stock. But when we look at the company's website, it's a little bit, I don't want to say dated. They're just straight to the point. Here's the news. They got some contracts in the I think it's a Navy contract, or what was it? There's a securities purchase. We covered them a little while ago. It's been a few days, so let's take a look. They got this Oasis Plus unrestricted IDIQ contract. So this means they're on demand for the government. They're expected to actually offer three things, I believe. Intelligence services, that's the first thing. Technical and engineering, that's the second. And then research and development. Actually, there's a fourth. It's management and advisory. This Oasis Plus contract is a 10-year deal. Essentially, they're going to be on demand to help the government with processing data, cybersecurity, and they have had some talks about AI developments in their company as well. They're in cyber supply chain risk management. They recently, in January, were awarded a $3.2 million contract for its specialty system subsidiary. And then they got this SBA for Navy, I believe it is, Seaport, Navy Seaport. This is a contract you see Navy Seaport also with Big Bear AI, which is interesting. That's kind of like in the same section. You can see Epic, which is the company that's also a part of this, and the SBA means they're going to be kind of shadowing the company, the other companies. Castellum's going to be learning how to get more contracts, learning from these other companies that are already taking contracts in, and that's part of this SBA, the Small Business Administration. Again, there's small business, just 60 million in revenue, and you can see, or 60 million in market cap, about 10 million in revenue. You can see that this is something related to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Office of Biometric Identity Management, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and U.S. Department of State, U.S. Department of Defense, and National Science Foundation. So that's Epic Systems, the company that they're working with here. This could be a doorway to some more potential growth in the company. If you look at their executive management, you can see some of these chief executive offers. So the CEO here is Glenn Ives, responsible for the company's overall operational financial performance. He's a graduate of the United States Naval Academy and United States Army War College. He served as a naval officer, so they got that Navy contract. That's interesting, isn't it? That is interesting. And then you can see cyber, AI, that's their mission, AI and machine learning, data science and analytics, cloud technologies, and digital transformation. Out of Southern Maryland, Navy Alliance, and helped to bring the University System of Maryland to Southern Maryland region, an $85 million academic and research and development technology innovation complex that fuels technology innovation. That's quite the technology handful. But I do see some overlaps here where this CEO could be working in close proximity and have some partnerships, and you already see that start to play out, that could potentially benefit the company. We'll see how it plays out in the near term. I would expect some volatility. The financials were looking a little better. I think a lot of people think it's going to sell down to here, and that's kind of what it looks like. But this is a key level of previous resistance that it's been using as support. And if it validates it, maybe we trade it tomorrow morning at market open from here to here. I mean, that's a 26% increase. We'll be watching it very closely. Ideally, you would want to urge caution when looking at this stock because, again, some of these swings, while they could be quite profitable, we're talking about swings that are significant. This level, that's a 26%. From this bottom to this top is a 90%, 93% swing. And these swings happen quite often. There it is again. That's a 90% swing. Now, the sell-offs do happen as well. And they can happen. It seems like the history of it is that the sell-offs happen slower, which is what I like. That's something that has some bullish indication. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean we couldn't see a very quick sell-off. It's happened before, so you just got to pay attention. This was huge volume and overreaction, I would assume, but starting to see it stabilize a little bit is what you'd like to see in a stock that could carry some momentum. There's also this overall trend that's starting to develop. Do you guys see this? And it looks like maybe it could hold this trend. I'm not saying it will, but if you look at it, more healthy pullback, it doesn't hold this level. It pulls down to here in that 82-cent range. It's quite possible. That might be the next step that it goes down to. That's why we're not in it. But again, it's approaching this 200-day moving average. We'll see how it reacts as it approaches this moving average. If it breaks above the EMA, which would indicate this blue line here, you see if it's bearish, it's oftentimes getting rejected. If it breaks above like it did here, it's going to act as a support and be more bullish. And you can see here right now it's below that blue line. We'd like to see it break above, maybe indicate some bullish momentum. But we'll see what happens at market open. If you guys would like to be there, it's the second link down below. That's Stockmate. We go live each and every day inside of Stockmate at market open. Would love to have you there. Hopefully I earned your thumbs up. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.